So TJ Morris of the Bear Independent YouTube channel said once that during land navigation, if you encounter a swamp, the correct thing to do is not to drain the swamp, but rather you just go around it. And that's where my current political standings are. We've gotten into a position where we're not going to vote our way out of the things that we disagree with in this country, globally, not just this country, but globally. And we need to remember that. And it doesn't matter whether you're on the right or the left, or you're independent, or you're a full-on anarchist. There's no doubt that both sides have done a disservice to us. And we've got to find out a way to participate outside of that. Add to that the fact that it's not even the elected officials that are causing us the biggest problem. Most of where our problems have come from, our elected officials have realized that they can't get enough support to be able to pass these agendas that they have. One example, take the FBI. The FBI is ran by a bureaucrat. I know y'all are smart people, but if there's somebody that doesn't understand what I mean by that, a bureaucrat is someone that works for the government, that is appointed or hired but not elected. For example, the sheriff works at the sheriff's office. The office is an elected position, whereas a police department, the chief of police, would be a bureaucrat. They're appointed or approved by the mayor, or however that particular municipality works, right? So that's a department or a bureau. That's not an office. An office, the office of the president, the office of the governor, the sheriff's office, is an elected official, hence the word official office. And we look at like the FBI director. Well, the FBI director is appointed by the president. The director of the ATF, alcohol, tobacco and firearms. Once again, that's another bureaucrat, right? It's an unelected official that is put there by the current administration to do the things that they couldn't get done otherwise because they can't get enough support from Congress or whatever. And that's how we wind up in this big mess like J6 and these, random unconstitutional rulings that are being treated as law, that are being put out by the ATF. It is a bureaucrat that's running the bureau or the organization or whatever you want to call it as per the president's wishes that appointed them there. It's a way that they can get their legislation passed without congressional approval. It's a way that they can do it without having to go through the normal thing of running the risk of burning their party to the ground, right? We don't vote on that stuff, but they work in agreement with the person that appointed them. Otherwise, they wouldn't have got the position, correct? Same with the IRS and everyone else. And all of these things I say just to kind of make my point of why I feel like I've kind of backed out and decided that I'm not participating in choosing between these random weird people that nobody really likes that debate each other every few weeks on our television. The two politicians on C-SPAN that are arguing back and forth and really cracking it down, and so-and-so just destroyed the Republican Party, all the while understanding that they're not mad at each other. They're working with each other. And their social media team comes and takes little bits and pieces out of that and makes little viral looking videos to, push out toward their voters to help their agenda. Meanwhile, they're fighting it out there. And then after work, they're both at the private cocktail bar that you and I aren't allowed to attend, chalking it up, asking about, hey, how's your family? How's your kids? Good to see you. So keep that in mind whenever you see your favorite politician, just tearing somebody up on the news. Lauren Boebert or Marjorie Taylor Greene or whatever their names are. I don't necessarily think that they're in this for politics. They're much more valuable making a name for themselves right now and getting picked up by Fox News. AOC, I truly believe that she's not in this for politics. She's trying to make a name, a reputation for herself, and then she can go to CNN or MSNBC and be a news personality for them, right? And this is all just, smoke and mirrors, right? It's bread and circuses. And that's what we're stuck in right now. So we need to start looking at, okay, these people are going to pass laws and make changes that aren't going to be good for anybody, right? They're going to be good for nobody. So what can we do to isolate ourselves from that? Well, it's the same thing that we always talk about. Free speech is the enemy of tyranny, however you want to pronounce it. I don't care. Entrepreneurship. Doing anything you can to take control of the things in your life. Entrepreneurship is self-rescue and the most effective thing we have against this whole world that's kind of collapsing in around us, right? You want to talk about taxes. Who wrote the tax code? The tax code is 88,000 pages long. 8,000 of those pages tell you what you have to do. The other 80,000 pages they're written to tell you how not to do it. And of course it's that way, because these same people that are talking about tax the rich and whatever, well, they're benefiting from that tax code. That's why it's there. That's why it's written in the law. All this tax the rich and all that. Well, they talk that, but no, they're writing the tax codes that they speak out against with these major corporations. There's only one way you can make, $150-ish thousand a year in Congress, and within a few years be, a decamillionaire. And they're going to tell us that they're looking out for us, you and I, us broke people, right? Us normal folks. But whenever you become an entrepreneur, you're able to take advantage of all those same tax advantages that they wrote for themselves. Being prepared. Nothing's worse than having something terrible happening and then realizing that you're dependent on the government to help you. Hurricane Katrina, being stuck in the Astrodome, not the Astrodome, but the dome that they had there in New Orleans, right? How did they handle the cough, cough, sneeze thing that we had going on a few years ago, right? So being prepared enough to not rely on them, because it's been said many times, and I'll say it again, if you want them to do less, you have to do more. And I'm not just preaching to you guys, I'm preaching to myself too. This is advice that I need to be taking as well. Get out of the cities. The cities, the urban metropolises, the high population density areas. Well, those are the places that get, more control exerted upon them, right? The city we just moved out of has a law that you're not allowed to collect rainwater for personal consumption. Okay, well, we just moved and there's nobody out here going to say anything about rainwater, right? The high crimes and murder rates, I'm not going to say it happens where I'm living now, but there's sure a hell of a lot less of it. So do me a favor, start thinking about that stuff. What are some things that you could do to kind of exit from, or at least isolate yourself or insulate yourself from this system that's falling apart? What can you do to make that not quite affect your life near as much as it used to? And let me know what you come up with. Well, anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'll leave some links up here somewhere for a couple more of my videos. I'd appreciate it if you made it this far to subscribe and hit the like button and hit the comment. It helps out the YouTube algorithm. Until next time, y'all be safe.